From the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to College Football Corner. I'm your host with the most, Jersey Joe Archino, and kind of getting ready to go into the studio to film the actual TV part of College Football Corner. But before that, I don't think we're going to get to this segment during the actual taped show, so wanted to come in and touch on this now. And it's really been something that's been building for a couple weeks now, and it's the question, is LSU the best team in college football? Now, you look at the AP Top 25 right now, and it's Ohio State number 1, Baylor number 2, Utah number 3, TCU number 4, and LSU number 5. But I'll be quite honest, folks. I mean, you keep on watching the way that this college football season has progressed. I think LSU, right now for me personally, if I could kind of go from scratch and go 1 to 5, I'd put LSU number 1 right now. I don't think Ohio State has solidified themselves. Obviously, Ohio State, it's extremely difficult, and you can't move them anywhere because defending national champions, still have not lost a game, haven't played bad. Just, I don't think that they've shown a singular performance where you could say, this is why everybody was so afraid of them. This is why they're the defending national champions. We'll see if Urban Meyer makes a change at quarterback. I think he should. I think JT Barrett, it's about time. I just think he reads the game better than Cardale Jones. He does a lot of those little things. He's a little bit more dynamic than Cardale is. So I think that will be very interesting to see there. But even for me, with the inconsistent quarterback play from LSU, a little bit more conservative in nature, I just think collectively they might have the best talent out of the top 5 teams. I think clearly they have the best defense out of all these. You look at them after this weekend, they're the number 8th ranked total defense. They were number 6 before this weekend. Just against the run, they are as good as it gets. Number 7 in total defense against the run. You look at the game they just played against Florida. They gave up 55 yards on the ground. And that's not just against Florida. This has been a pattern all year. They do not allow teams to run the football against them. And even when you try to compare them against a team like Alabama, who is also extremely good against the run, Alabama doesn't defend the pass like LSU does. LSU is a complete defense. They can stop the run. They are tremendous at stopping the passing game. There really is not a lot of holes in this defense. And offensively, look, do they have a conservative quarterback? There's no question about it. Brandon Harris fits the bill as a conservative quarterback, but he's had some nice moments. It all comes down to the unstoppable force of nature, and that is Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette has been as consistent can be. Every single game he has brought it. Multiple touchdowns in almost every single game he's played. Even this last weekend against Florida, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. He is as good as it gets, and he's really running away with the Heisman. There's really no doubt about it. Trevon Boykin was a lot of people's Heisman favorite before the season, but Leonard Fournette is just really making it easy. He is just running away with it. But yeah, I think you look at the AP Top 25. We'll go to Baylor at number 2. Has Baylor done anything to really make you say they're a better football team than LSU? And I don't think that they have at all. Look, their offense is as explosive as it is. Art Briles, Seth Russell. A lot of people before the season thought that Baylor wouldn't skip a beat with Bryce Petty going to the NFL, and it really hasn't. But again, it's not being done against great opponents. SMU, Rice, you look at Kansas, West Virginia. They still gave up a lot of points. I mean, that is the MO of the Big 12. You're going to give up a lot of points, and if you're one of the better teams, you're going to score a lot of points. That's what TCU does. That's what Baylor does. But they just don't have a championship game in the Big 12, and they don't play top-tier opponents like LSU does. I mean, let's face it, folks. Not all wins are created equal in college football. It's just not the way it is. A win for TCU is not the same as a win for LSU. A win for Baylor is not the same as a win for Alabama. The one loss for Alabama is not a detriment to them. I think it's more impressive if I look at a total package. If Alabama has that one loss this season, it's to Ole Miss, and then Baylor finishes the season with the one loss, with no losses. It doesn't mean as much. It just not all wins are created equal in college football. Last year with Florida State, it was the same story. They were undefeated in the regular season, but my goodness, could you pick out one game that they played where you could really feel confident about why this team should be in the playoff? I don't think so. It's hard to do, but not all wins are created equal in college football. We go to the next one, Utah. Utah, I think, is very difficult to really knock them. They just play a very physical brand of football. They just do it all really well. I mean, going into Eugene, Oregon, and just blowing the doors off the Ducks like they did a couple weeks ago, that made a statement, and that statement has carried over in the last couple games that they have played. There's really not much you can do to knock off Utah. And give credit to Utah because they're taking advantage of what has become kind of a lackluster a Pac-12 right now. I mean, we came into the season really all in on USC and thought Oregon with Vernon Adams Jr. was going to figure it out eventually, and UCLA with Josh Rosen. But my goodness, right now, Utah is far and alone the best team in the Pac-12. Stanford is really catching up. I mean, Stanford has been on a tear right now. But collectively, from start to finish, the second they played Michigan to now, Utah is as good as it gets. TCU, very similar story to Baylor. I like them better than Baylor. I think I have more faith in Trevon Boykin. He's been in bigger games. He's done it. This is his second year. This is another year for him. But it's, again, not a great defense. The Big 12, very suspect when it comes to that. And I don't think you could put your finger on one singular game from TCU and say, this is it. This is why they're a top 5 team. This is why they have a chance to be in the college football playoff. I just don't think that you've seen that from TCU to this point. But again, not much going to be done. And then we go back to LSU. I really think you look at the teams in front of them. And aside from Utah and Ohio State, I think you could make a legit case LSU should be the third best team. I really do. You just look at look at what they have coming up. Western Kentucky, obviously garbage. You look at Alabama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and then Texas A&M. That is why not all wins are created equal in college football, because LSU is going to have to play teams like that, and it's just not the same story for a TCU, for a Baylor. I think at this point, LSU is possibly, and I think that you have legitimate points that they're the best team in the country. But that's enough for that. Going to get ready for the studio. We'll be back for College Football Corner very shortly.